would God allow the murderer or the rapist to enter heaven? He's using a standard to judge them by. The problem is if God is using a standard to judge the rapist and the murderer, that means there's a standard, and we can't define where it begins and ends. You're limiting God on what he can judge. You're saying God should only judge a rapist or a murderer, but Joe Blow, the neighbor who's always gone to work and takes care of his family, should enter heaven. What the Bible says is that there is a standard. The standard doesn't begin and end where we choose. The standard goes beyond that.
There are different standards that different Christian groups have claimed. I understand the position that you're talking about. It was one that I used to accept as well. What I'm saying is that you are fundamentally wrong. We can assess that standard and determine whether or not it is just and moral. The fact that some old book asserts that there is some higher authority, even if it's true, even if the Bible is true, and there is a God, and he's judging people by some standard, I find it morally repugnant and reprehensible, and I want nothing to do with him. Anybody who would advocate that person X deserves to be tortured forever in hell or annihilated simply because they could not believe something for which there was insufficient evidence, while some other credulous numbskull can go out and kill and murder and rape and have a deathbed, that is not justice. It is not. And yes, I am imposing my own moral standards on it. But you know what? I'm more moral than the God of the Bible. I'm more moral than any character in the Bible, and so are you. And I wish people like you would own up to that and realize it, instead of saying, oh, there's some standard that we don't understand. Oh, for crying out loud. Is there any possible way you could conceive of a standard that would punish this person and not punish this person when everything about you tells you that this person is a sick, evil predator and this person is an innocent, good-hearted individual? This type of system is a dictatorship, a fiat that makes all crimes, all sins, which I reject that concept, but all wrongs equal, and everybody begins with this pitiful, poor state of being worthless and in need of redemption from before they were born, even. And those who don't believe the unbelievable are somehow punished. But if that's the way the system actually works, then my assessment is that it is immoral. And I don't, I'm baffled by people who could claim that it's moral.
Well, in fact, to slaughter an innocent person and say, well, that's just recompense for the crap you did, that's not moral either.
Plus, it's absurd, this idea of blood sacrifice.
It is. How in the world does bleeding make somebody that did something wrong all of a sudden not
You've got this system that I say is immoral, and you think that the correction to this is for God to sacrifice himself to himself as a loophole for rules that he created that were unjust, and that this makes the rules just? That's crazy. Let me tell you something. According to the Bible, God basically chucked everybody into the pool and said, I got a life preserver. Anybody want to not drown? He's ultimately responsible. The story, and I agree, I'm getting worked up, and it's not because I think that there's any truth to the story. It's that I'm so offended and pissed off that there are people out there who take this fairy tale and make excuses for it and say that this is something good that people should be applying to their lives, or that we should make 2010 the year of the Bible. Listen to yourselves. I'm more moral than that, and so are you, and you guys need to just own it.